So Andy, welcome to Pitch to Bricks. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Ross.
Andy from Bell Lamb Joynson Solicitors.
Yeah.
Obviously we know each other well, but for the benefit of the audience, if you want to give us a bit of an understanding of Andy and
Yeah.
you know, Bell Lamb Joynson.
Yeah. So I'm Andy. I'm relationship manager for Bell Lamb Joynson Solicitors. I've been there just over. It's coming up to 2.5 years now, which is flown by really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, law firm specialise in 4 areas of law: criminal defence, family law, wills and probate, and residential conveyancing. Which obviously is my background. I fell into conveyancing a few years ago. Well, many years ago now, to be fair, and yeah, that's my specialism. So work closely with Laura Cartwright and Mike Lehman. Yeah,
brilliant. So, I mean, obviously conveyancing is probably not the sort of thing you when you're growing up go, right, I'm going to go be a conveyancer. But that's just like mortgages, you fall into it.
Yeah.
But no, I wanted to sort of get you on today to talk about, because obviously we've had different people on the show, like in terms of talking about, you know, investing in property, the finance behind it and stuff, which can sometimes be perceived as like the glamorous side of it,
yeah.
if you like, and everybody thinks about that. But obviously the nuts and bolts and the legal side of the process behind it, I just thought it'd be great to give people a bit of an understanding of that and like how best to sort of approach it. So, you know, if we start from the very basics. I'm a first-time buyer. I'm looking at buying a property. Like, why do I need a solicitor? Like, what part does that play in the process?
Yeah, so you'll need a solicitor or a licensed conveyancer to actually transact the property into your name. So our role is obviously we usually the legal side of it, and there's a bigger debate about at what point does the legal process, if you like, begin. You know, there's some talk it should start earlier in the process potentially when the property gets listed.
Yeah.
That some of that legal information should be available at that point, but that's another.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So yeah, the role of the conveyancer, the solicitor, when you instruct them, is to make sure that property is transferred into your name correctly. If you're getting a mortgage, the solicitor usually acts for the lender as well. So we've got two clients in the transaction, and we have to make sure that the property is as in accordance with the offer that you've made, and that from a legal point of view that the access that you've got, the plan, information around the property which comes up in the local searches, all of that is satisfactory, and we're comfortable that we can then, because as the lawyer you have to give a clean certificate of title, which sounds a bit gobbledygook, but it's basically giving the green light to the lender that property is good for the funds to be released. Okay. So you know, in a very short few sentences, that's the nub of it, and that's the bit that can cause challenges, because as acting for a buyer, you have to raise inquiries based on the info that you're given, and some of the delays in the industry comes from getting that information back in a timely fashion. Yeah. And that can lead to transactions sort of taking longer than sometimes we want. Then the flip side is if you get that information back handy and in good time, you know, we can get them through. As long as the client, the first time buyer, I mean, one of the things I'd say is obviously get everything back to the lawyer, regardless of which firm, as soon as you can. Yeah. You know, some of the delays that we have is where paperwork doesn't come back to us, or we're not instructed, and that can add a bit.
And this is the thing, isn't it, that rightly or wrongly is a little bit of a stigma around buying a property, isn't it? That it takes ages, this or that, and you know, it gets a little bit of there's this, you know, like I say, rightly or wrongly, that's an issue that the solicitors have to deal with, isn't it? Yeah. So from a client's perspective, like, what are the key things that they can be doing before they even do anything to help with that?
I think that probably the top tip for first-time buyers, and which I'd say to my sort of family and friends, is if they're at a stage where they're having a chat with someone like yourself, Ross, in terms of getting their decision in principle sorted, even at that stage, I would be looking at which solicitor am I going to use, rather than it be a shock after you've got your either offer in principle in, or you've had your offer accepted, and then you start looking. Because it doesn't happen instantaneously. You know, you can instruct us quite quickly, and you know, we do a lot of stuff via an app, so you can be instructed quite quickly. Yeah. But most people get 3 quotes as well. Yeah. You then sort of, you know, you can add on a couple of days there, which don't feel that relevant at the time. Yeah. But those days and sometimes weeks at the start of the transaction, they cost you at the end of the transaction. Yeah. because you haven't really sort of got ahead of the curve. So, yeah, you know, definitely get your solicitor instructed straight away. Get a lot of the sort of paperwork that you'll need to fill in. Get all that ready, because then the flip side of that is you're in a much better position when you go to make your offer or you're negotiating.
It's a bit like us, isn't it? Like it's a bit like the mortgage. Like all the stuff I talk about is all about the prep work you can do up front. It's like the classic cliche of preparation, you know, is the key to success and everything. And I know it sounds a little bit obvious, doesn't it? But it just is so true. The other thing as well you mentioned there around, you know, you're acting for two. The amount of times we'll get a situation where somebody wants to use a particular solicitor, but because of what they're doing, or because of the type of transaction it is, because of the lender that they're using, these things sometimes evolve as it's going through. But you work like one solicitor can't always act for a certain lender and stuff, can you? So and you know, and the nightmare with that can be is that sometimes you can find that out when you're like 4 or 5 weeks into the transaction. You know, so doing that bit of homework at the beginning, getting yourself sorted, making sure, like you say, your solicitor can deal with your lender that's going to come through with the offer. Can just say it saves time and stress and headaches, really. To be fair. And like I say, it's all about relationships, isn't it?
You
know, regarding like sports clients or any client, you know, you want to have that contact strategy and that ability to be like, yeah, they're on it, and if they need anything from me, they'll be in touch. So how do you manage that with your clients? Like, what's the contact thing with? So what could a client expect from the journey? So like I've instructed you, we're underway. We know the property, we know the lender, everybody's good. Like, what are the key milestones? Then?
So the way, I mean, I'll only talk about our firm. I mean, most firms probably follow similar to this sort of way of dealing with new clients, but some have different models. But from our point of view, a new client will be either introduced, or we get quite a high percentage of clients come to us directly because of our, you know, network, the way our branches are set up. But within that sort of initial contact, we have a new business team that will speak to that client, get their details, what type of property they're buying, price, etc., and guide them through that onboarding process. Now, the reason behind that is that allows our lawyers to crack on with the legal work as opposed to the administrative side of getting a client signed up.
Understood, yeah.
So the first contact that our client has with us is key. I mean, you can win or lose a client. Tone of voice, speed to answer, how helpful you are, you know, and that's a really important thing that we try to strive to. We don't always do it, obviously, but that's a key, you know. And you'll know that yourself. If any company you have first contact with, if you're booking a hotel or whatever you're doing, it's that first few impressions, and they can set the tone for the rest of the transaction, really, even if you don't know it at the time.
Oh yeah.
So that's really important. So the client will accept the quote, get fully instructed. At that point, we pass that over to the lawyer that will look after the client. And you said there about relationships, and that is really important. So all our lawyers value the relationship we have with both, obviously, the client, but also the people that pass the work into the firm. So there's a consistency there that they work with the same teams, and that works on a two-way thing. That works really well. And then it's at that point when that file is moved across, because from the client's point of view, they might be, well, I thought I was dealing with Bob, and now I've moved over to...
Okay. You
know, another person's name.
Yeah.
But we try to sort of handle that move across by the lawyer will reach out to the client, usually within a day or so, to make a introduction call to the new client. And that call is really important. Again, it sets the tone for the relationship between the client and the lawyer, because it's moved teams effectively. And again, it's a welcome call. It lays out, you know, where we're up to in terms of, have we got everything we need from you as a client? You might still be ID from one partner, but we've had to move it in because the contract's come in, and there's pressure. Might be a pressurised situation. And it's we try to ask sort of some useful questions. Have you got any holidays coming up? Ideally, when do you want to get the keys?
That golden question.
Yeah. So some questions like that, just to build that rapport. We explain how we communicate. We try not to email clients if we can, which again, people, you know, clients are used to emailing sometimes. We all are, but obviously from our point of view, that presents a risk in terms of
Yeah.
You know, we've got Marks and Spencers on the back foot at the moment, haven't we?
Yeah,
They've
security
been hit,
and everything, yeah.
And particularly for the conveyancing industry, there's money being moved around, bank accounts being passed around. So it's being sort of really cyber strong is very important.
That's a really good point, actually, because we have seen that with deposits and things, haven't we? So that's probably, I would say, probably a top tip to take away, isn't it? And you know, when you do get to a certain stage in the process, if you're sending over, because it's not a few quid, this is it? It'll be
life savings,
tens of thousands of pounds.
So I would say never accept bank details on email from a law firm. Even if you've been in the office and you saw them send it, I just wouldn't accept it. So we have like an encrypted chat service with our clients, which is two-factor authentication. So, I mean, even in today's world, you don't know, that probably will that's constantly being sort of refreshed and checked because the risk is really high, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, no, 100%.
So then the file starts moving, but communication is absolutely key, and that initial phone call isn't just like that's it. You know, welcome aboard. You won't hear from me again. We try to keep the communication by phone, because in conveyancing, a phone call updates, and even if it's like an update where nothing's happened for a week, and that does happen in conveyancing.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah.
Or buying a property is far more powerful than any other form of communication.
Yeah, and it's you know what, it is easier said than done, though, isn't it?
It is easier said than done, and I know myself. If someone calls me, particularly first time, most people screen the call, don't they? Or it goes to voicemail, and people are busy during the day. So we aim where we can, where it's big important news, or even if it's bad news, to deliver it by the telephone. Do we always do that? No, but that is, I would say 9 times out of 10, that's how we try to do it. I was going to say, obviously, in terms of those milestones, the point that you made, because it is a legal process. You know, you do start at A and you have to get to B, but there's certain milestones that you have to hit. When those milestones are hit, such as a mortgage offer being received, the system that we use and we've developed over the last year is that we send out a short video, which goes onto the client's app as well, which we've had professionally done, and that's a little 30-second overview of what that means for the next stage. Really,
that's good.
As much as you can do in 30 seconds. But you know, I think there is. Everyone's in a rush these days, aren't they? People don't want to read long email updates today. So
I just think jargon's a massive thing.
We
get there's lots of it in what we're doing. There's lots of it in what you're doing, and I think if you're buying a property for the first time, how would you be expected to know that? What exchange of contracts means, or what's a deposit for a house? Like all this sort of stuff. Like what is it? So how would you be expected? So I think that's really cool that you've done that.
Yeah, the videos are, we're getting some good feedback on them. So that's a good, and I think that's just the way society's evolving, isn't it? Really, people do want that bit more bite-sized info, don't they?
Because especially in a service-led industry where it's a bit me too, isn't it? It's a bit like, well, I'm a mortgage advisor. The guy down the street's a mortgage advisor. Like what? I'm a solicitor. I can help you transact this property, but so can they. So like, how are we different? Like, what is our thing? How do we evidence value? And okay, so we've bought a property first time, but a lot of our audience will be thinking about, well, I've done that. I've laid the foundations. Now I'm thinking about maybe investing in property and all that sort of stuff. So if somebody is a investor or buying like a second or third or what, like, property, is it any different?
In terms of the process, no, it isn't really. You know, I would get your legals in place soon, sooner, as soon as possible. To be fair, particularly in that investor market where properties may be getting more attention than if they're sort of at the level where there's going to be more interest in them.
So sorry to cut you off there, but like an auction.
Auctions an idea, auctions again, because we offer a service where some people will want us to check a legal pack. Pre-auction to kind of get a feel of what they may be getting into. Gives you a very short and sweet summary of the title.
And that's a service you offer.
Because
we get asked that a lot, where somebody's gone to auction and they want to go and buy something and refurbish it. Or whatever it might be. There's a number of reasons why something could be in auction, right? So
Yeah, check a legal pack, yeah. Usually happens on the day of auction, we get requests.
Yeah.
It's happening in about half an hour, so, but we can accommodate them. So same principle in terms of getting yourself legally instructed as soon as possible, because it does put you in a strong position when you are negotiating, because you can throw that into the mix. You can say, there's my offer, there's my solicitor's details, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And bits like that will come into the thinking of agents and the thinking of the owner as well, in terms of if they've got multiple offers, which of these offers is the most proceedable.
Yeah, I mean, that's where, coming back to relationships, so got a strong relationship, and like I say, nothing ever goes absolutely to plan, does it?
Not in conveyancing,
so you could, you talk about your own personal relationships, you've got your best mate or your wife or your girlfriend, partner, whatever it might be, things aren't always, you'll have your
smooth
challenges, right? So,
yeah.
So I think that's an important point to note, but then I think if you are investing and you're buying multiple properties, to have that person in your corner that you can pick up the phone to and they know where you're at, know what your file looks like, that's surely got to add some.
That does help. And we do get clients who come back to us who have either become an accidental landlord, which happens, if they've inherited a property, or if they are making that step into that world and they want to start buying some units or properties. You tend to find they will come back to you if you've done a good job. Because they've got that trust, they kind of know how it works, how the style of it goes, and they're comfortable. And I would hazard a guess, most in terms of returning clients that we have to the firm, most would be investors.
Yeah, okay.
So the normal, home mover, if they're downsizing or upsizing, it happens fairly infrequently. You'd be surprised that even if you do an amazing job and we get chocolates delivered and flowers, which happens, when they come to do a move in, say, 6 or 7 years' time, they probably might go to someone else. Because if someone's in front of them at that point talking about conveyancing, and it's an easier option.
Because I suppose it can be perceived, it can be rightly or wrongly perceived as quite transactional. Like, I just need that to do that.
Just to get through. But if it's investors, you sometimes build in a bit more of a relationship. And then also they will tend to find they will go, well, do you know a good surveyor? And we do know some good surveyors, or my friend, some financial advice. So it can then you then become the relationship develops.
You're building this power team that we talk about a lot.
Definitely. It helps.
Putting that all together. If you've got that power team, it makes life just that much easier, doesn't it? You can achieve things a bit cheesy, but you can achieve more together than you can individually. So.
100%.
So that's interesting. So a couple of takeaways there. What do you think are like the key things? Are you seeing any trends in conveyancing, like sort of moving forward, that were possibly worth noting?
I think the obvious one is the impact of artificial intelligence.
Oh, right, okay.
It's here. It's been here for a while now. It's part of our business. It's undoubtedly going to have an impact on the industry. How that looks and how that will play out is we're all probably still looking at how that will actually impact. But the benefits that can offer us in terms of some of the legal processing, some of the communication piece with clients is obvious. For it's kind of it's a no-brainer in some sense, isn't it? But my thing is that presents loads of opportunities and potentially will increase some of the speed. That would be the aspiration, right? You'd think, wouldn't you? I think, and we see this as well in our business, that as much as technology is fantastic and offer great value and speed, in conveyancing, when people are moving homes, I come back to my earlier point, they want to speak to people. They don't want to speak to a robot. They want to speak to an ideally qualified person, trusted advisor, that they can get information which is really relevant to them at that time of that conversation. So I think AI will undoubtedly grow and be a part of our industry. It's more how that can support the process. It's not look, I might be totally wrong. It may replace us, or you could do everything with an AI robot in conveyancing in 6 months' time. The pace of change is that quick. I personally don't think that will happen.